Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, we've been talking a lot about the governor's race in '06. There's one Republican candidate who hasn't gotten a lot of noise. We'll find out why. Paulinos has the rundown.
Lieutenant Governor Lorraine Hunt will be here today to tell us why she's running for governor and why you probably haven't heard too much from her. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Susan Fisher, Alfredo Alonso, and Andy Barbano. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we focus on attracting high-tech companies to Northern Nevada. One vital amenity provided to companies at TRI is a connection to a complete digital fiber network. This gives the ability of unlimited bandwidth and voice services to every business. And what's charged for the installation of this valuable asset? Nothing. Zero. Nada. And that's a pretty good deal. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
When making your decision as where to play golf, consider the resort at Red Hawk. You know you have made the right choice the moment you arrive. The friendly staff welcomes you to our award-winning pro shop. You know you've made the right decision on the first tee. The Lakes course is in the best condition in years. You know you've made the right choice after you've played 18 holes. The resort at Red Hawk, the right choice.
Nevada Newsmakers is sponsored in part by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And we welcome to the program the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Nevada, Lorraine Hunt. Pleasure to have you here as always.
It's great to be here as always.
Lieutenant Governor, you've served in this position for 8 years. Why run for governor now?
Well, number one, I am termed out as Lieutenant Governor. I've chaired economic development and tourism for the last 6.5, 7 years, almost now. I think that we have made some great strides. Probably if we didn't have term limits, I would continue to do this job because I love it. However, it's a natural evolution for me to move on as governor of the state of Nevada. I have won 2 statewide elections. I've served as president of the Senate for 4 regular sessions and 5 special sessions. I have been serving on the governor's cabinet. With all the cabinet members, I serve as vice chair of the Nevada Department of Transportation. I think that my experience now, my qualifications certainly qualify me to be governor and to do a good job as governor and bring us into the future. I have some creative visions, and I'd like an opportunity to share those visions with the people of this state.
Would you do so now?
Well, certainly. I think that we are, and have proved that we are in a global economy. Nevada is in the global spotlight in many ways. We know we are with tourism, and we're beginning to be in the global hub of business. We need to continue those efforts. And the things that we need for government, we talk about education, we talk about affordable housing, we talk about health care. All the things that we need require money. But the bottom line is that the way we get money for government is to have a robust, dynamic economy. And that's what I've been working on for the last 6.5 years. We had a budget surplus this last session, and I like to think that my efforts have had something to do with that. And so the more we work in that process, the more we're going to have to improve the quality of life for all of our Nevada citizens.
A lot of people were upset with the governor, the 2003 session, which kind of created that budget surplus, where he raised, actually, they said $836 million, but actually ended up over $1 billion in new taxes. Where were you? What is your position on those taxes that were raised in the 2003 session?
I'm an optimist. And at that time, I felt that the Nevada economy was going to improve, but the governor was very prudent. At the time, things were very bad. When he took office and we took office, he had to cut all kinds of positions and cut the budget and slash the budget. And in his mind, he was preparing for the future. And he thought that we needed those additional funds. He couldn't count on the fact that maybe we were going to get lucky. And we did. And I think we put that money to good use. And I think that we do have a lot of needs in state government. A lot of our federal funding had been cut. There's a lot yet to do. But, you know, to be a Monday morning quarterback is easy. But to make decisions and make hard decisions based on what you think is right is what a leader is supposed to do.
Well, okay, you know, this is a very interesting statement for you to make. And the reason it's very interesting for me is that the governor has been out recruiting Republican candidates or people to be potentially Republican candidates for governor. Why is he not throwing his weight behind you when you had just so solidly thrown your weight behind him?
Well, Sam, I think the governor, in many of his statements when he's been interviewed by media, has said Lorraine Hunt, then he'll name the others, but for some reason my name never gets into print, but he has mentioned me, and I've had many people tell me about that, and it's interesting. But I think that the governor wants to see a candidate that has their heart and soul into this, and I think he's letting us all go out there and saying, okay guys, duke it out, let me see which one of you has the right stuff. And I think that ultimately that whoever has the right stuff is the one that the governor's going to support.
Well, I think a lot of the problems the governor has with your opponents is the fact that they were against that huge tax increase, and very vocally so. Jim Gibbons, in his address to the state legislature, and then Assemblyman Bob Beers, now Senator, was very opposed to that tax increase, and I think that's why you see the governor. I don't know if the governor would end up supporting a candidate like that.
Well, you know, it's hard to take the criticism when you think you're doing the right thing. And, you know, walk a mile in my shoes. When you have to make decisions, as I said, if you're going to make them as a leader based on what you really think is needed, I think the governor truly believed that those tax increases were needed. He truly believed that, and he thought in his mind he was doing the right thing.
Do you think they're still needed, or do you think there would be an opportunity with these huge surpluses to maybe roll some of them back this next time? Well,
obviously, being a very fiscal conservative person that I am, I would always look back at rolling back, rebating, holding the line on spending, all of those kind of things. But also as a business person, I realize there are times when you must invest in the future, as we need to do with education and some other things. But I'm very fiscally conservative. Okay. I'm pretty tight in my own little business. If you can run a restaurant and survive for 30 years when they're giving food away in hotel casinos, you better know how to handle a budget, and I do know how to handle a budget.
Okay, are you comfortable with the tax caps on the property taxes?
I would have preferred, Sam, that the tax cap would have been uniform, 2 or 3% across the board. I don't believe in penalizing businesses and apartment dwellers with the 8% and the 3%. But I think that was a compromise that the Republicans had to agree to, or nothing was going to happen. So they did. Do I like that? No. I think it should be the same for everyone.
Okay, what about the Taxpayer Bill of Rights that's been promoted? Do you like the idea of that?
The Taxpayer Bill of Rights, I think there's many things in it that we do need to consider. I think we have to be very careful that we don't set limits upon ourselves that we cannot invest in the future. As I said, I know when to tighten the purse strings, but I also know as a businesswoman when it's time to make an investment in the future.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. Lorraine Hunt, I don't know why your name is not way more prominent, because you make an awful lot of sense. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
If it's fun, it's here at the Peppermill, the $100,000 video-themed slot celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes, $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Peppermill's video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Peppermill. Where are you winning?
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back with Lieutenant Governor Lorraine Hunt, who is also in the race for governor.
Lieutenant Governor, let's get a little more specific on your opponents. You've been there for 8 years, and a lot of these people you've been, or will be there for 8 years, a lot of these people you've known for quite a long time. Richard Perkins, candidate for governor, what do you think?
Well, Richard Perkins does serve on the Assembly side, so I've had very little interaction with Speaker Perkins. It would be difficult for me to, because I've never had to work like in a committee like I have with the Senatorial Caucus of the Republicans, Senator Reggio, Senator Beers this session. But I really couldn't have much to say because I haven't had that interaction.
Okay, Senator Beers.
Senator Beers, I think he's a great CPA. I love the way he looks at those numbers. I mean, I'm really good at budgets and numbers too, but he is really micro, and I think that's great. And I think that he brings an awful lot to the Senate's Finance Committee as the vice chair.
Okay, Jim Gibbons.
Jim Gibbons has been a friend of mine for many years. I think he's a very admirable human being and person. I've loved the way he's voted in Congress, and I think he's done an excellent job there for us. And Jim is just a good guy with good intentions, but I do think that the job of governor requires a real CEO with a broad base of experience. The governor has to see the big picture. They have to have experience and qualifications in many, many different areas. And that's why I'm running for governor, because I think my personal business background, then my local government experience. I was a county commissioner for 4 years in Clark County. Clark County is the largest government, second only to the state itself. We were everything. We were the airport. We were the water district. We were University Medical Center. I mean, the amount of activities that we were involved in was huge. So I had the local government experience. I understand what local government should be doing and how their responsibilities. Then being lieutenant governor for 2 terms, serving as president of the Senate, through all the special sessions, sitting on all these various committees. Think about this. I have had legislative experience and executive experience in both in the same administration. I would go from my legislative office at the Senate, put that hat on and sit in the Senatorial Caucus, and then run over to the Capitol and sit with the governor in the executive branch and could see both sides of the situation. Sometimes there's conflicts going there, but it was very enlightening for me. I have great experience and great understanding of the process.
Okay, were you surprised at the frosty of Sunbelt owner Jim Rogers' attacks on Jim Gibbons?
Well, Jim Rogers and I went to Las Vegas High School together. I don't know if you know that saying.
Oh, I think we're looking for some...
Oh, yes, we did. And Jim is a friend also for many years. He's done many wonderful things. I think as Chancellor that he is just the right guy, the right man at the right time. We had a reception for him during the legislative session at the Railroad Museum here in Carson City. And I walked in a little bit late. Jim was up there talking about that the university system, we needed to do so much more, but that we couldn't do it with just taxpayers' dollars because we have approximately 2 million people in the entire state of Nevada. We don't have enough of a tax base to milk it out of the taxpayers to pay for the kind of university system that we would want to have. Jim talked about the public-private partnerships and him working to bring in more private money. And that's the right way to go. And he's the kind of guy who can do it. Not only can he write the check, but he has the friends and the connections to get them to write the check. So I think as Chancellor, he's the right guy at the right time to help us improve our education system.
Let me change subjects because you've been doing a lot. You've gone back to China.
Yes.
We had Big Macau Week in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Tell us some of the results from these trips.
Well, you know, I was the chairman of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority several years back. I also served as a commissioner for the Nevada Commission on Tourism. I had opportunities to travel to the Pacific Rim in the 90s. And as a businesswoman, I just saw great opportunities for Nevada with that market. So as soon as I was elected lieutenant governor, I said we must pioneer the People's Republic of China. Many people said, why, Lorraine? You're ahead of your time. That won't happen for years to come. I said, no, you're wrong. I mean, when I was 19 years old, I bought property out in the middle of nowhere in Las Vegas at Tropicana and Eastern. That became, I said, I can see this. This is something we have to do. 2005, I took a delegation to the People's Republic of China. Chris Bart from the Reno Tahoe International Airport went with me. We started negotiations and talks on direct flights. Since that time, 03, 04, we opened. The Nevada Commission on Tourism opened the only licensed tourism office in the People's Republic of China. No other state has an office like that. In fact, the United States of America doesn't have that license, but we do. We can market Nevada. There's 1.4 billion people in the People's Republic of China. Think of the numbers, 1.4 billion. There's only 260-some million in the United States. If we could capture 1% of that 1.4 billion people, we could fill all of our hotel rooms. If these people came for one day, we could fill all of our hotel rooms in the Reno Sparks area for 2 years. Those are some stunning numbers.
Besides tourism, what other economic opportunities are out there in Asia?
We have about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Sorry.
Many exports. We are mining, the technology that we have, the Desert Research Institute. There are many opportunities for us, our tourism education system, many opportunities to export our products to China. They're good customers for us. They're customers.
And they want to do a trade zone, free trade zone with Sparks.
That's right. Lots of exciting opportunities.
You know, we just need to put a lot of bonanza on Chinese television. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we focus on attracting high-tech companies to northern Nevada. One vital amenity provided to companies at TRI is a connection to a complete digital fiber network. This gives the ability of unlimited bandwidth and voice services to every business. And what's charged for the installation of this valuable asset? Nothing. Zero. Nada. And that's a pretty good deal. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we have a great Power Pundit panel. Ray Hagar joins me, along with Alfredo Alonso, with Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins, Teresa Benetiz, and David Jacobs, who is an assistant city editor for the Reno Gazette Journal. Well, let's start out with, as we always like to disclaim, that Jim Rogers owns Sunbelt Broadcasting, upon which this program airs its programs, and announced yesterday that he's not going to join the race for governor, but he's going to put $2 million into a PAC to promote educational ideas. Is it education or is it anti-Gibbons, Alfredo?
It's a good question. I guess it's going to, only time will tell in this case. I think Mr. Rogers could have a significant impact on this race, obviously, if he actually does that. And in particular, in the general, depending on who comes out of each primary. So.
You know, Teresa, he said that a race for governor would probably cost him $8 million, so he'd rather put the $8 million into a PAC to help get elected who he wants to get elected, or at least get the, I shouldn't put that, that's words in his mouth, that's not true. What he said was that to discuss education issues.
Yep.
But truly, that is a huge amount of money.
It is a lot of money, and I think that he's going to have more of an impact by taking himself out of the race and investing this $2 million in an issue that he cares about than if he ran for governor. If education is really what he cares about, then his money and his time is going to be better served by going this route. So I think it's smart. He could waste $8 million running in a race talking about issues that he doesn't care about, or he could invest $2 million talking about education and forcing the two candidates to make education an issue and at the top of their platform plank. I think it's a smart move.
You know, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and rather, I don't want to say snide comment, but maybe a little snide comment, was that the reason that he's not going to run is he knows he can't win.
I think that's correct. Getting back to the $2 million, I don't think this is an anti-Gibbons slush fund. I think it's a pro-university slush fund. The people that will support growth in the university, I think, will be able to get some of this $2 million from Mr. Rogers.
I think it's real interesting. I've noticed since I've been in the state that there's such a focus on education, and now it's going to be even further. I mean, regardless of what happens, the focus will be on education and seeing where the state stands and where improvements can be made. So I think that's very positive.
I think the real question, independent expenditures mean he can't ask the candidate for any input whatsoever. The candidate cannot be involved in any way at all. So what that means is Mr. Rogers will be spending money on commercials or billboards or what have you that he himself creates. So the question is it going to be a positive pro-education stance, or it will be a negative towards a candidate? That's the question.
Are there any restrictions on what he's able to do, or how much money he's able to spend?
Spend as much money as he wants, as long as there's no contact with the candidate. Or any candidate, for that matter.
It's going to be a very, very interesting race.
He's already sent letters to every candidate asking them what their positions on higher education.
That's what I was going to say. If anything, he's not only forcing this to be an issue in the governor's race, but I think this is going to trickle down to all the local races, where it's going to force every candidate in every assembly race, senate race, across the board to take an issue and a stance on education. So, I mean, like I said, he's making this an issue. And
I think people are going to take stances on education anyway. With Jim Rogers, money is in or out of this campaign, because when you look at it, education, when you add up higher ed and K-12, it takes up more than 50% of the state budget. So obviously, education is like the Defense Department for the federal government. I just think it's going to be an issue no matter what.
Okay, let's go international here, because this story has just been, going the rounds now. Hugo Chavez, the president of Venezuela, has certainly not been America's best friend, and that's an area where we get a lot of oil from for this country. Pat Robertson goes on the air and suggests that there have been rumors about him being assassinated by the United States. Maybe we should just go ahead and do it. What do you think, Alfredo?
It's amazing that he even said that. Again, Chavez is not a friend of the United States. In fact, I think he is dangerous. I think he could be a significant danger in years to come. However, one of the biggest problems we have in the Middle East is that folks in the Middle East look at our religious leaders like they look at their religious leaders. When their clerics make a statement, it is essentially the word of the people oftentimes. So it's very difficult for us to try to work with the Middle East when our so-called clerics are making statements like assassinations, etc. It makes it very, very difficult.
That's a very interesting point.
And I have two things to say about this. First of all, hasn't the United States learned its lesson about meddling in Latin American affairs? I mean, we've got Chile, we've got so many different examples where we've just learned that it's probably better to leave the politics to the people of the country and respect their sovereignty. Secondly, is the one thing that I'm most concerned about this is that Pat Roberts doesn't necessarily represent everybody who's a person of faith, and I would hate to think that this reflects negatively on people who are religious in the faith-based community, because I am a person of faith, but I don't in any way advocate assassination.
David, you get the last 30 seconds here.
I think it's been an interesting story to watch develop. He ran for president in 1988 for the Republican nomination, so he is a high-profile figure, and I think it's interesting, to see this story develop, and I don't know necessarily that, that there could be more, fallout from this.
Well, he's a man of faith. 10 Commandments say, thou shalt not kill. That's one. And then he denies the story the next day, so thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. He's got 8 commandments to go.
I guess so. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers with good news for Hawthorne after this.
Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Abadi Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And by phone, we're joined by Tom Erickson, who's the acting general manager of Day & Zimmerman out of Hawthorne, who are the major contractor down there at the base. And great news yesterday from the BRAC Commission that you guys are off the list.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It's like a great big weight taken off your shoulders.
Tom, did you expect such good news? When you look at BRAC commissions before, it's quite unlikely that they change their mind on anything.
Yes, we were told going into it that it was a very, very slim shot, but the town and everybody else came together very, very well, and it was a really truly a group effort.
So so what was the atmosphere in town once this announcement was made?
Oh, everybody is elated, and I think probably relieved also.
Tom, what do you think the influence of Harry Reid was in this, as he was the Senate Minority Leader and with other people in Nevada's congressional delegation helped arrange 2 visits to Hawthorne with BRAC I
think it was a major influence. Getting 2 of the commissioners to come and visit us, let them see what the real story was about Hawthorne and how far from Reno we are, and what we kind of what the major effect on the base closing was going to be if we had it.
Well, we couldn't be more thrilled for you and for the folks in Hawthorne, and I'm sure the Armed Services Day this year is going to be a huge celebration. We thank you for being with us today, Tom.
Certainly, very much. Thank you.
Okay, go Hawthorne High Serpents.
Thank you.
And just want to remind you folks that, as always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers online these days at nevadanewsmakers.com. We also love to get your emails via that website as well. And we've got some great shows coming up for you next week, including...
Well, we'll have State Senator Bob Beers, who is a top candidate for governor on the GOP side.
We'll see you next time on Nevada Newsmakers. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.